And start. Um, hey guys, good afternoon. My name is David Gutierrez. I'm an associate here at Yetter Coleman. I'm one of the committee leaders for the Leadership Academy this year. I quote unquote graduated from Leadership Academy I think 2 years ago. So this has been one of the committees and kind of like the programs that is really close to my heart and also like my professional development. So I'm really happy to spend some time talking to you about Leadership Academy, what it is, like why do you want to join, like who are the alums, and what's the application process look like, if you are convinced that this is something that you'd want to do. I'd also like to introduce some of like my co-leaders this year. Trevor Deason, the HYLA secretary, is gonna talk for a bit to talk to you guys about like his experiences. And Elena Bolonina, she was part of Leadership Academy last year, and also again another leader in our committee. You all can also see, like we're joined by my other, leaders like Miguel Escobar, Harrison Long, Michelle Curry. Like they're all part of like this year's committee. And obviously, guys, like feel free to chime in if you have anything else to add because we're all alums here and we want to hopefully convince a lot more folks to join this Leadership Academy family. So with that, I want to start with kind of like this question, right? Like, what is Leadership Academy? Trevor, Elena, do you want to kind of start with that?
Yeah, Elena, you want to jump on that? Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Um, Hi all. First of all, thanks so much for joining us today. We're really happy to give you this Q&A session. Basically, the Leadership Academy is here to prepare you as future leaders in the community and highlight in other organizations in the Houston area or Texas or the United States or the world. It's really up to you with how far you want to take it. So basically, during the academy, if you were selected to be a member of the Leadership Academy for this year, we'll meet about once a month. The exact timing and dates are to be determined, but we'll present you with different leaders in the local community. For example, last year, I believe the very first session or the second meeting of our leadership class was meeting with all Houston Law School deans, and it was very inspiring to see how great they are, what they vision for their law schools. We also met with nonprofit leaders, with different lawyers in different organizations, from big law to nonprofits and some Harris County office. So basically, you meet with these different people to get inspired to see what different paths are there. And ultimately, we are, as a class, will be presenting a project, which is a nonprofit organization that you as a class will select. You'll raise money and you can have any kind of way of fundraising. It can be a trivia night. Last year we had, what was that? Forgot what we did this year.
It was a bingo night, right? Yeah,
That's
bingo.
right, bingo,
Yeah.
bingo. It was bingo night, which was a lot of fun. There were a pickleball tournament in the past. So basically, it's up to you what kind of the way to raise money. But the academy is teaching you how to be a leader in the community. And this ultimate project, the fundraiser, is here to help you navigate those skills. Trevor, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so I agree with everything Elena said, and I'll say this. So Leadership Academy, if you don't know, so there are a ton of professional organizations in the legal space, especially in Houston, and there's quite a few of them that do leadership academies. We're not the only ones, and they're all sort of the same. But what it is it's like you're going to get, at least for HYLA, you're going to get exclusive networking opportunities that is not going to be open to other members of HYLA. And like Elena said, they're going to be top notch, and they're going to be really good, and they're going to be great. And usually, the HYLA leadership also joins. I see Shirley is on the call; she's the treasurer. So there's a lot of interest in this program, and it's sort of one of our signature programs for HYLA generally. And so it's a great way to sort of just jump in to the legal space and meet people that have the same idea as you, the same vision as you, and really kind of want to make something of their careers outside of just the work that they're doing, at the office. And like Elena said, at the end, you do a capstone sort of signature program piece. And what that really does and what I like about it so much is it makes you work with somebody in such a way that you form a bond that you're never going to be able to remove. Like, it's more than just, like networking, going to get coffees and lunches. That's all fun. And HYLA does a lot of that. Trust me, happy hours, all those things. Those are good things to do. But like working on something tangible and real with somebody long term, and then seeing the benefits of it puts you in a space with that person that is you're just going to have a really strong bond. And so all these people on this call, I've sort of met along this way, and we're all really good friends, and they're all going to super great places in their careers. So it's just a great way to immediately and quickly jump into the legal community. And also, if you love HYLA, this is a really great way to sort of like, move your vision of HYLA forward, right? Like, you can join Leadership Academy, which is what I did when I first moved to Houston about 3 years ago. I loved it so much, I decided to chair it the next year. Did that, liked that so much, decided to run for the board, got on the board, liked that a lot, and then I ran for executive committee. So I've always just kind of told myself each year, if I like this, doing what I'm doing, I'll continue my involvement in HYLA. And, here I am so many years later, and I absolutely love it. And so, last piece about HYLA, I've personally explored like a ton of organizations in Houston, and I have found HYLA to be the most rewarding and successful, I would say, just because we're so big. There's so many members, and we're all, young attorneys in our first 12 years, just trying to learn how to be good attorneys. And it's a great place because you can make mistakes with your peers, and nobody will be upset with you. So it's just a great way to get involved. And Leadership Academy especially is just how to get plugged in quickly. So yeah, I'm glad we're having this call, and so that's what it is.
For sure. Trevor and Elena just like hit it right on the head. My favorite, kind of buzzword that I've created for this is, the Leadership Academy is sort of like this, HYLA's premier incubator of leadership, right? Trevor mentioned, two things that I really want to highlight. The first is, like the friendship networking aspect of Leadership Academy, kind of like going through, like this year-long program with, 25 to 30 individuals. Like you'll take that, as you kind of, mature as a young lawyer, as you, explore other different organizations. A partner, here at my firm, he was part of the Leadership Academy class of like 2020 or 2021. And, obviously, like he still shows up at HYLA events. He's been a leader at HBA, but, he always mentions like, hey, like I made my start. I had my start at Leadership Academy because most of like his class members ultimately became leaders, not only in HYLA, but like in the other organizations in town, right? Like Institute for Energy Law, HBA, FBA, all the other affinity groups. So like that's kind of, one thing about Leadership Academy that's I think really matters for me, right? It's like this opportunity to, meet like-minded individuals and, foster friendships and networks with them. And the second part, I think Trevor and Elena also alluded to this, is kind of like how, HYLA is such a great organization because we're big and we have a lot of different committees. And truly, and maybe I'm biased because I'm co-chair of this committee. Truly, I think HYLA's success depends a lot on the Leadership Academy class that we get every year. Because again, like as the incubator of leadership, right? Like most, if not all of our, class members go on to become committee heads. They go on to become leaders in different HYLA committees. And, some like Trevor, right? Like they will run for board. They will run for, higher office in a way through HYLA. So, this is kind of like an introductory lesson for everyone who is interested in kind of like that type of engagement. So yeah, like with that thing, like I highly recommend you guys apply and hopefully join us for this year. That kind of like dovetails to like my second question, right? Like who are Leadership Academy alums, right? So like now I talked about, the partner of my firm who, is still a young lawyer, not as active in HYLA, but, like he's a leader, right? Like he's a leader at HBA. You have folks like Elena and Trevor who are, leaders in this committee, but they're also part of like other committees as well. And then you have, kind of like elected board members like myself and Trevor. Miguel is a director this year. We've all kind of like gone through like the Leadership Academy program, and we decided that hey, like HYLA is an organization worth supporting. HYLA is an organization worth like our time and engagement, and we've kind of like sort of run with it, right? And maybe Trevor, you can speak more about that since you're the HYLA secretary, and how Leadership Academy alums have been active like throughout the organization.
Yeah, I'll say I think almost all of our board and certainly our EC executive committee, like president, past president, all that, have gone through Leadership Academy. Shirley, she's our treasurer. She was in my class with me. We were actually on the same subcommittee together, and now here we are. So it's surprising to me how many people are from Leadership Academy and were engaged in Leadership Academy. And I'll give you another example too. I was at a dinner not too long ago, and Justice Busby, Texas Supreme Court Justice, he's from Houston, had a practice in Houston before he was on the court here in Houston, and then the Texas Supreme Court. And I just told him, yeah, I'm really involved in HYLA. I like doing that kind of stuff. And he said, oh, you do Leadership Academy. He was like, I was the first class. I was like, oh, wow. So, our records on our website, I think you can go look and you can see so many years prior, but they don't go back as far as Justice Busby. But I say this to just say I was pleasantly surprised that he was also a member of Leadership Academy when they were getting it off the ground, and that it went far. It went back that far. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everybody that goes into HYLA leadership or goes, to higher places in some of these other organizations that David mentioned, they all sort of start, I think, from Leadership Academy, and so there is just a wide batch of alumni. And so, yeah, Elena, anything to add on that?
Sure. So first of all, sure, you will see a lot of alumnus all over Houston and Texas and again, the world. But I also want to add that I don't know about y'all, but I can fake doing networking. I can have a glass of wine and come up and say, hey, what do you do? What do you do? Discuss this have a little conversation. But I don't think there is anything more than bonding over a project that you do for a year. And I think this bond will stay with you for the rest of your life, and you'll create great friends, lifelong friends. You will really bond over something that is meaningful in this community. And you also do something that doesn't benefit you, right? You're raising money for some nonprofit. Some of you might have a project near and dear to your heart. I think in the last few years, there was some friends of friends who were running some nonprofits, and those projects were actually selected for this Leadership Academy fundraiser. So you really will see a lot of benefits from bonding with people who will be in this community basically for the rest of your life.
Oh, no, that's great. And hopefully at this point, right, like if you haven't applied to Leadership Academy, like you're seriously considering it, given all the benefits. I do want to, kind of like shift a little bit to, the logistics of the program, right? So the program, as Elena, I think, mentioned earlier, it really like runs like from October through May. We're talking about, like making lifelong friends and like, gaining a big network. But like, how do you actually do that? We do that like through like the once a month kind of like sessions that we have, right? Like we'll offer, CLE sessions. I think like the first one's going to be in November, where you'll meet, other Leadership Academy alums, other, kind of lawyers who have made their mark in Houston. And, again, like last year we had like the deans come in to talk and speak. We had some, government officials and political leaders come in as well. So like that's how you really learn, throughout the program, and like how you bond like with your class. We'll also have, a lot of, opportunities for kind of like mingling and happy hours, right? Like we have the kickoff event in October. We traditionally have a holiday party in December, and throughout the program year, we'll have specific time periods where you guys can just sit down and kind of think about like this capstone project, which I think really encapsulates what HYLA is all about, right? So the capstone project again is kind of like this project, like this event that your class will try to organize and host and lead for the benefit of a nonprofit of your choice. Usually, like the class will, hold this event like in May, towards like the end of like the program year, and we'll try to fundraise, we'll try to organize it like the way that you want it to do, right? So it's really creative. It's a way to kind of one, figure out like how do you organize an event and how do you fundraise, because it's also really conducive to HYLA leadership, right? Like once you become a HYLA committee head or even a committee leader, right? Like that's a big part of like your job, quote unquote. You're trying to find sponsors. You're trying to find like the venue for the event. Like you're trying to figure out like what event do you actually want to do. Like last year they did bingo night. My year we did a trivia night, and then I think Trevor's year you guys did pickleball, right? So it can really be anything that you want, any nonprofit that your class decides to support. So I think that's again like one of like the best things about it is like it kind of induces creativity in a way. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of like the logistics of it. Like how do you kind of have like this opportunity to lead, learn, network, and serve, which is kind of like HYLA's motto. Like you go through like that program year, you attend the events and all that, and then hopefully you come out of the Leadership Academy as young lawyers who have much more skills and experience with kind of like leading events, organizing events, and you have like this network of people, who can help you as you mature as a young lawyer. Trevor, Elena, anything else worth adding, or do we want to talk about the mechanics of applications?
I'll just say this. Is there any questions on that piece from the group here? Maybe some people that are thinking about applying or what this program really is. Hopefully everybody already applied. They're trying to get a jump on the program.
Okay, no, and guys, please, if you have any questions, right, like you can ask us here, or you have my contact information, Trevor's and Elena's, like any of the other leaders, like please, reach out. We're always happy to kind of have a visit and talk more about Leadership Academy or HYLA in general. So just the logistics of the application process. Our application period is open until September 19th. So that's like in 3 weeks. You can complete like the application form through the HYLA website, and I'm just going to drop the link here on Teams so that you guys can kind of take a look at it. And we really appreciate the engagement. If you want to apply, and again, if you have any questions, just let us know. Admitted members will pay $275 for admission if they're private attorneys, right? Like if you're working at a big law firm, boutique, or whatever, or $175 if you are a law student or a public interest lawyer. So that money goes to support kind of like the programming throughout the year. We're gonna definitely get sponsors, right? Because like we have like CLE events and holiday parties and kickoff events and all that. Like we'll get firm sponsors for that. But I think like the admission fee will also help towards like programming. What do we expect from the class? Like really just your engagement, right? Your engagement in your time. Like Elena said, we are expecting to meet every month, starting from October through April. A lot of these will be CLE events. We are most likely thinking of scheduling them like the first or second week of like the month, but like we're gonna keep you posted on that. But that's kind of like the mechanics of it. And obviously like we also expect that the class this year will take the lead in creating and organizing this capstone event for a nonprofit of their choice. Obviously like us leaders will be there, like if you need any help, because like we've gone through the program ourselves and we want you guys to be successful. So we'll be there to support you. We'll be there to manage it. And ultimately, right, like we really do hope that, like the class will come together like at some point in the next few months and kind of, again, take the lead on that and continue on like this Leadership Academy tradition of holding really good, like engaging and fun capstone events for, a really good cause. So yeah, if you have any questions, or Trevor, Elena, anyone else, if you want to add something else, feel free to chime in. But I think that's it for me.
Anything, Elena?
Just apply. It's a lot of fun, and you'll develop a lot of skills in a very safe environment. So before you jump in and helping some big law partner with organizing CLE event or hosting a conference, you'll make all the mistakes here in HYLA. And then you can go there and like, hey, I already know how to do this. I've done everything wrong in the past, and now I have my skills.
Yeah. And thanks, David, for putting all this together. It is helpful to kind of hear this. I'll just end with, if you're still interested and you're on the fence, maybe kind of trying to think about it, I would recommend going to the HYLA Leadership Academy website and just kind of seeing everybody that's kind of gone through the program. It is quite impressive to kind of join that group. And then also, if you're one of the people that looks at HYLA and goes, I don't even know where to start with this. There's just too many things going on. There's too many people. I get too many emails. I'm not even sure. Leadership Academy is actually an excellent place to kind of dip your toe in and be sort of in an isolated bubble with other people that are figuring it out. And then you can kind of ease into it, because we will, David and Miguel and Harrison, we will make sure the class knows not just about the Leadership Academy events, but sort of the bigger HYLA events that people should go to. And we can kind of help you navigate the HYLA space, get your feet under you, and you can see if it's something that you want to be a part of or not. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I fell in love with it. Like I said, I'm still here doing HYLA stuff. So yeah. Okay.
Could I add a little bit?
Sure, Harrison. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a Leadership Academy member 2 years ago, and I fell into the camp exactly that Trevor's described, where I was more of a passive member of HYLA, and it was suggested to me that I check out Leadership Academy, and I figured, why not join, see what it's all about. Ended up being one of the best decisions that I've made, not only for getting to know other like-minded individuals, but for other opportunities in the Houston legal community. It has led to tremendous growth in my own career and an expansion of my network. It's a great opportunity to be surrounded in almost an incubator of other like-minded individuals, people that are naturally curious, want to be plugged in and involved, and want to contribute to their communities. Great way to dip your toes into HYLA and see what else is out there. So would highly recommend it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Harrison, Trevor, Elena, and again to all of you guys who are interested, and you took the time to join us this afternoon, and hopefully you can apply if you haven't applied yet. Again, our application season is going to end in September 19th. So if you have any questions before then, just let us know. Yeah. Well, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks all.
Thank you for the info. Y'all have a blessed one.
Of course. Bye.
You as well. Bye.